Sigrika's drip marketing is finally out, and it dropped just a few days before confirming she'll be joining in version 3.2. And since we already know a lot about her kit, let's break down everything you need to know. Sigrika is expected to be the next Aero DPS, and her main source of damage should be Echo Skill damage. She's also a Gauntlet user. That makes her our second dedicated Echo Skill damage dealer, which also means she should have synergy with both Echo Skill buffers and generic Aero buffers. We also already have an Echo set that looks made for her, Sound of True Name. It gives 20% crit rate to Echo damage alongside 15% Aero damage, which is honestly one of the most broken sets in the game right now. And on top of that, we already have a 4-cost Echo, Nameless Explorer, which also provides additional Aero damage and Echo skill buffs. All of this gives us a much clearer picture of what her kit might look like. Before we go further, if you're planning to top up or you're trying to maximize the current top-up events, make sure you check out Loot Bar. They're offering some insane discounts at the moment, and this is totally safe and trusted by millions of people. You also don't need to share any details because they offer self-top-up. Just use my link below. Okay, coming back to Sigrika. Since she's an Echo Skill damage dealer, her obvious best-in-slot support is Qiuyuan. No one comes close to Qiuyuan when it comes to buffing Echo Skill damage. He provides 50% Echo Skill damage, 20% crit damage, and he can hold the Law of Harmony set for even more Echo Skill damage. Alongside Qiuyuan, for the third slot, we actually have multiple options. Ciaccona can provide 24% Aero damage bonus, and with her weapon, she becomes an even better option. And honestly, this could end up being the best non-sustain team in the game. Outside of Ciaccona, we can also use Iuno. She provides healing, and her outro can also help Qiuyuan because Qiuyuan does a lot of his damage through heavy attacks. And we also have the option of Frolova, depending on how Sigrika turns out. But here's the big question. If Sigrika doesn't actually cast Echo Skills, and instead only deals Echo Skill damage, something like Galbrena, then she might have zero synergy with Frolova, and that would restrict her heavily to Qiuyuan and maybe Ciaccona, which is a real concern, because this gets even worse when we already have Galbrena. Most people will either run Galbrena with Qiuyuan or run Frolova with Qiuyuan, and then there's just no other premium option left for Sigrika. Even though Aero is one of the most overpowered elements, Sigrika being locked into Echo Skill damage could become a serious issue unless they give her another dedicated support. Because honestly, if I'm playing Galbrena and I don't have Lupa, I'm already forced into Galbrena plus Qiuyuan, and then Sigrika has no one left. Compare that to Aemeath. Being both a Fusion Burst and Toon Break DPS, she has multiple options, and she can always fit into mono fusion teams. Even Luuk looks like he'll have Lunite plus Mornay as premium options, and Sanhua as a decent free-to-play option. So the real question is, do you really need to save for Sigrika, or should you just grab Aemeath and Luuk, or even go for Galbrena if you already have Qiuyuan? Right now, Sigrika's only dedicated support is Qiuyuan, and Qiuyuan is also the best-in-slot support for Galbrena, which means if you already have Galbrena, Sigrika is looking like a direct skip, unless we get a brand new dedicated support. And as of now, looking at the DPS units, Luuk and Galbrena should be next phase, and then we most likely get Qiuyuan plus Sigrika in the first phase of version 3.2. Now, after looking at everything, it also looks like Aemeath's future Fusion Burst support might actually be Rover in his fusion form, because we still don't have any new Fusion DPS coming soon who would even use the Fusion Burst support Echo set. And this is actually huge. It means Aemeath might be the most free-to-play DPS added recently because her best-in-slot support could literally be Fusion Rover, which is obviously free. And for players who were saving Astrite for a dedicated Fusion Burst support, this basically lets you spend those pulls on someone else. So let's make a quick priority list. If you already have Galbrena, then Qiuyuan should be your first priority. And if you already have Qiuyuan but you don't have Galbrena, then you can pick one between either Sigrika or Galbrena, depending on who you like more. Either way, Qiuyuan is a must for your account. And it's also very clear now, Qiuyuan used to be around A tier or even B tier on release, but at this point he's straight up an S tier unit, just because of how much value he adds to two of the best DPS in the game. Now for Luuk. Like I said, if Fusion Rover ends up being Aemeath's best support, then Lime and Morne become completely free, and you can run them with Luuk instead. So if you already have Lime and Morne, and you were thinking of skipping Luuk because you can't play both Aemeath and Luuk together, you actually can go for Luuk as well. Especially because we've seen Zani fall off recently, and the value of a Spectral DPS can be even higher than Aero or Fusion DPS in a lot of accounts. And one more thing, we usually get premium versions of Rover's role later, like how we got Phoebe and Ciaccona, so it wouldn't surprise me if we get a dedicated unit for these archetypes in the future too. I mainly wanted to make this video to give you guys a clear idea of what's actually going on. Hope you liked it. Make sure you're subbed. Till then.